All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Crown Council Live. I am Stuart Anderson. We're grateful to be with you. This is our weekly program where we connect with our Crown Council members, our resource partners, team members, and we share with you the things that are happening around the Crown Council. We are grateful to be with you. We have Lane Anderson with us today. You can already see Lane. We're going to be talking to him here. We have some updates for Smiles for Life, our humanitarian trip. We have a recorded team member interview, one of our team members of Crown Council. So it is going to be a great hour together. Thank you for joining us, whether live or recorded. We're grateful to be together and thankful that you'd spend just a few minutes with us today. Lane, we are excited to have you. You are a familiar face here on Crown Council Live. We actually did a Crown Conversation, which I'm very excited about with you a couple months ago. So it's fun to hear from you and learn all the neat things. We prompted the Crown Council that we were going to talk about AI. Anytime we say AI, something happens where everyone perks up and they're like, all right, I got to know what's going on here. So I
Yeah,
know that that's some of our topic today, especially around search engines and marketing and how AI that you've seen is helping and changing this world. So we're grateful to have you with us. Maybe before we get started with your slide deck, will you talk about and share a bit about what you do, who you are, and the resource partner that you are, what you do for Crown Council?
sure. Yeah, glad to do that. And it's great to be on with you today, Stuart. I am the owner of Perspective Marketing, and we've been a Crown Council partner for, goodness, about 20 years. And we love working with Crown Council doctors. We help them find new patients profitably in a quick sentence, but that involves helping find good new patients that connect and convert and help grow your practice. And so we are deep into all of this stuff with AI, as well as how we create that connection with good prospects for your practice.
Very good. Lane,
So,
I think one of the most interesting parts about what you do that I've heard from Crown Council doctors, and maybe you could spend a few minutes sharing this, is as a marketing advisor, you do a lot more than just creating advertising and marketing for a doc. Can you explain kind of the analytics behind prospective marketing and how you are different than just an advertising marketing company?
yeah. When I started into this, I said if I were a dentist, I would want to know how well is this working? How much is it contributing to my growth in a practice? So from the very beginning, and a lot of this is now automated. When we first started, we had to do this with spreadsheets and a lot of manual work, but we connect with your dental database at the back end so that we can see not only how did they get to you and how much traffic was there, how many leads are there that generated, but what happened to those leads. So we connect with the dental database, get a download from there that tells us then, did they appoint, did they come in and get a treatment plan, and did they convert, and how much revenue did that generate for the practice. So with that continuous string of data, we can now see the whole journey that a new prospect's gone through, and we can go back and analyze now, how did they get to you, what keywords were they looking for, what time of day. We can show you your return by day of the week and hour of the day. We can show you your return by zip code, and we can show you your return by service. So what that all amounts to is you can see what's working, what isn't working, and you can take that investment that's going into areas that aren't as productive and redeploy it into areas that are. And so that just helps you continue to improve your return because you can see what's working and what isn't working.
So smart.
So
I love
that's
it.
been a powerful, yeah, been a powerful tool. I was on the phone the other day with a doctor, and he said, "Hey, I was wondering about this," and we were able to pull up this brand new Prospect Studio that we implemented that has all of that data available, and we could see by service where those patients were coming from, when they were contacting the office, how they found them. So it's just incredibly powerful, but it's exciting to be able to help practices in that way to have greater insight into what's working and what isn't.
So smart. I love the analytics behind it and the scientific method of determining where and what is working rather than sometimes I get on Facebook and I'm like, I'm just blasting out a message that I don't even know who's looking at it. And it just seems kind of silly sometimes. So I love that scientific nature of this. So very good. All right. Hey, I know you got a slide deck, Lane. Do you want to share
It's
your
exciting.
screen? Do you want to share your screen and we can kind of get
Sure.
started with our AI topic? Okay, cool.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let me do that, and feel free to jump in whenever if need be. Um,
Okay, I can see it.
what we are seeing right now in front of us is an evolution of, the way things are done online, and we saw, a huge evolution and change with a capital C when the internet came online, and we are seeing a similar evolution now. And so I just wanted to share with you its impact in dentistry, and I think we've all seen it in a lot of different ways. It's become an efficiency tool for analyzing x-rays and all kinds of things that it can do to help us be more efficient in the work that we do every day. It has been pretty powerful as a content creator. It's not a solution in and of itself, but it can be a great help with both visual content and uh, word content online. So it's been powerful there. We have seen, as we've done some development, tools that are helpful in assessing how effective we are in answering the phone and providing valuable input for coaches like TOPS that can provide some effective strategies and know how to target that. Recently, in the last year or so or two, we've seen AI agents, and they are developing where we can have them actually talk to consumers when we can't be in the office, and that's really the best use of it. We have found as we employ AI agents to take care of that evening call and give them that flexibility to set an appointment and convert right there, and answer their questions, that gives us an opportunity to expand the window in which we can do advertising and reach people after hours and on weekends when we might not be in the office. And of course, another thing that is particularly pertinent for finding new patients is AI for search. And it has been interesting to see this develop. It is very interesting. It's just to provide some perspective, what we have seen with search engine optimization that we've been familiar with for many, many years. We're optimizing to be visible for a keyword search, and they go into a search engine, and like Google or Bing or Yahoo, a few people on DuckDuckGo that find us when somebody types in a question or particularly a keyword search. With AI engine optimization, more often than not, what we see is that people are looking for the best place to go for this or that, and it's more of a comparison between practices. So as they go into specifically into the AI engines like ChatGPT or Gemini, which is affiliated with Google, or Copilots affiliated with Microsoft, etc., Perplexity, Claude, there are a bunch of them. They are synthesizing all of this information that's on the web that's available to them and providing answers to questions and providing comparison between practices. So, one of the challenges, of course, that we face is this is different than SEO. The results will change. Depending on the AI engine, the results will change. Depending on the question you ask. If you ask the same question twice, you may get a different answer. And and the sources from which they pull are all different. For example, Perplexity, one of those AI engines, has made a legal affiliation with Yelp. And so they're going to be pulling heavily from Yelp in terms of their analysis and the information that they share. Um, Given all of that and how much this changes, measurement's a lot more difficult. It's easy, relatively easy with SEO to be able to see how well are we ranking for a keyword. But because there's so much change in the questions that are asked and the fact that they're not even always consistent, and where they're pulling from, the measurement of it is very challenging right now. It will get better, I'm confident, but right now it isn't. So what I wanted to share today is how do we deal with this current environment? What are the realities we're dealing with now, and how do we make sure that we are visible and showing up as we need to be in sync with where consumers are? And I wanted to share with you basically four principles that I think can be very, very helpful to you in your practice if you'll pay attention to these four things. And those are how visible you are, what is your positioning in the market, how is that messaging occurring, and how are you getting out and interacting so that you get that message out and communicate that, and how are prospects able to validate and be reassured that you're providing them with what they need. And there are a lot of tools that we have today that help us do that. In terms of that visibility, search engine optimization continues to be very, very important. The vast majority of the traffic is still coming through Google and Yahoo and Bing, particularly Google. And it's important to be optimized there. A lot of times, Google is now serving up AI results with those results that are showing up on the search page, and likewise with other search engines too. So it's still important to be well optimized. Ads are continuing to be important in that visibility, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And then being optimized for AI engines as well. Positioning, helping you to be more differentiated or communicating what it is that makes your practice a desirable place to come to, and then how that messaging occurs. And there's a lot that we can do on the website. There's a lot that can be done on your local listings that can help communicate that. We'll talk about that. And then finally, just the validation and reviews and third parties. So I wanted to take a minute and just share with you some things regarding each of these that may be helpful to you. First of all, with visibility, we can use search engine optimization to be found for services that people are searching for, and particularly in your location. Ads are important to add to that, because in that communication we can be more focused, we can control the messaging, and we can target more directly the people that we want to talk to. We can target the services that we want to be outreaching for. We can target the locations where the potential is greatest. And then in AEO, or AI optimization, we're providing a comparison between our practice and other practices, and there are some ways that we can work with that to help position ourselves for greater visibility for the things that are strategically most important. And then the local listings are also important. They have reviews, and we'll talk about those in a little more detail, but all of those things create visibility. Now today, most of the traffic is coming from SEO and ads. People are increasingly using AI engines to answer questions and look, but it is far from the majority. And so, as a practice, it's important to be doing both, to make sure that we've got strong visibility through SEO, through ads, and that were well positioned and optimized for AI when they use that as a tool to locate the practice. And then your local listings are crucial. We will find patients going there to check the reviews and also to get information about the practice as to how to contact the practice.
Nice. Very good.
So let's talk. Let's talk a little bit about positioning then and differentiation. What is needed in AI is not something that's even foreign to regular marketing, which is how do we get our practice to stand out? So if we look and feel like every other dental practice, it may be pretty random as to okay, who should I call? We've got to make sure that we stand out and are unique or can show them in what ways we're unique. And this is probably, as I work with doctors, this is probably the most difficult question that I run into. Asking them is, what is unique about your practice? And here's some questions to think about in tackling this. You have a lot of reviews, hopefully, from your patients, and what do they say in their reviews? Why do they say they come to your practice? What makes you such a great practice for them to come to? What is it about your practice that's different, that is unique and offers them a wonderful benefit? Is there any particular expertise that you have that is not common? Do you offer a service or a level of expertise that the dentists around you don't have? Are there some things that you can offer in terms of your approach? What's different, in other words, from the practices that are around you and what they're doing? And getting our finger on that, and it requires some time and introspection and discussion with the team. What do your patients say to you? That's a great place to go. And here's some ideas. Perhaps there's something unique about your practice culture, and how you treat patients and how they come through the practice. There might be something regarding ownership that you might want to talk about. If you're part of a larger group of practices that has some particular strength, you can talk about that. If you're a privately owned practice, you can talk about being locally owned, and the owner is there helping you and helping you with your dentistry. Sometimes there are services we offer and a level of expertise that is not common. For example, we've seen doctors that have, high level of expertise with implants or with veneers, or maybe they're the only ones in the market that offer IV sedation, or it could be any of a number of things. But paying attention to the doctors around you and knowing where you've got particular strengths that you can offer is another area, a way of differentiating. We are finding certifications, awards, memberships are things that demonstrate expertise and capability to offer service, and becoming very important to highlight those on your website. And then the patient experience is another thing you can talk about. Some doctors have differentiated their practice by being a place that's gentle and comfortable. Some have, emphasized the comfort, the spa room, all the additional things they offer. Have a doctor that offers ice cream to his patients. I think that's awesome. But there are a lot of things that we can do and talk about that make our practice different. One of the key things, as you're thinking about this and what it is that differentiates you, is to make sure that it's going to matter to them. We can get caught up, for example, in talking about all this cool technology we have, but we've got to make sure and translate that into why this makes it a better experience for you.
Mm.
So that benefit orientation, we can't just be different. We need to be different in a way that's going to be appealing and matter to people. And so that's important to keep that in mind as you're thinking about how do we want to position our practice. And one of the things that we're seeing with AI, and I'll show you this in some other examples, somebody might say, "Who's the best dentist?" And it'll say, it used to, at the first, it seemed like it'd say, "Well, here are some of the best dental practices," and it'd list them. Now it's starting to differentiate a little bit for different factors. So it might say, "Here's the best dentist for this service. If you really want a place that is gentle dentistry, this practice has shown itself to be really effective there." And so there are ways in that positioning to segment a little bit, and particularly if you're a newer practice, it's going to take a while to build the kind of presence and reputation and strength that a practice may have that's been around for a long time. You can position yourself as, for example, having the best technology and new effective things that make the dentistry more efficient and effective, for example. So there are ways to work around that and position your practice in a way that makes it appealing to patients.
Nice.
So the third thing I mentioned was the messaging. Once we decide how we want to position our practice, then the question is, how do we communicate that so that consumers will see it and the AI engines will absorb it and take that in? And there are some things we can do with the website, with our local listings, and also with social media. Those are our key tools that we have to provide that messaging. Let me talk about each of those real quickly. So as far as the website is concerned, it's important to have really good high quality content, both visual content, which draws people in, written content, which appeals to the engines. And that might include, I've got down here, awards, certifications, memberships. That's important content to establish your strength and expertise. A lot of AI engines use questions as they're answering questions, and so what we're finding is having FAQs on the page, frequently asked questions, caters to that really nicely, and a lot of times they will pick that up as part of their content that they're using. And so thinking about what are some of the frequently asked questions that my patients ask, and answering those on the website can be really, really helpful, because those are likely the same questions that other people who go online are going to ask as well. Some of this is also kind of a more technical thing, but schema and technical SEO, schemas gives those search engines guidance as to get through the website, and some of that is caters to SEO. There are certain things that also cater to AI engines done with the website to help them synthesize what's on your website so that they can use it in their results. It's really important to emphasize the service areas where you've got special expertise. And just to give you an example, a practice that's heavily focused on veneers, cosmetic dentistry, it's important that the website communicate that in spades, that this is the place to go to improve your smile. Or if there is a lot of capability and opportunity for implants, to communicate that, or sleep apnea, or it could be any of a number of things. Sedation can be an area of benefit that you can offer patients, and centering the practice around the ability to use that. We've seen that, for example, being able to extend into special needs. So anyway, there's a lot that can be communicated, especially on the homepage. That's particularly important. And then we've already talked about awards and certifications and memberships. Those are all things that can be very helpful. Here's an example of a AI result from Gemini, um, and a query about who's the best cosmetic dentist in this market in the Los Angeles area. And interestingly, the things that are noted here about specialties, about reputation, and just how Dr. Dorfman's known came from the website. So those were important and instrumental in positioning the practice and highlighting things that then this AI engine was able to synthesize. So that can be very, very helpful. The local listings are important support for that. And by local listings, I mean your Google Business Profile, your Yahoo and Bing, your listings in Health Grades, Yelp, all of those. It's important to update that content. There's some value for the AI engines in having that be consistent so that when they find that, they can easily associate it with your practice. And this is a great place also to reinforce your positioning. So there's usually a description in there. And you can talk about that positioning that you've decided is important to you strategically. One of the other interesting things about Google, for example, Google Business Profile, is that you can list a bunch of services that they've identified, and you can pick one of those that shows on your listing. So if you pick dentist as your key category, that's fine. That'll get you in a group with a lot of general dentists. If you put in cosmetic dentist, it's going to help you show up better when somebody's searching for a cosmetic dentist. It helps your positioning there. And if you put implant provider, if that's a key important thing, that's going to help you show up better for that. So being intentional about what that key service is that you put on that listing makes a difference, and it has a big influence on how you show up in that with the map, and how you're listed there. So that messaging is very important on the local listings as an extension of your website. Social media can also be very helpful. So it gives you an opportunity to show off some successful cases or testimonials. If it's something maybe like sedation, just being able to talk about that and how it facilitated having a great patient experience. Make sure that what goes on social media is consistent with the positioning you've established. And the nice thing about social media is that you can talk about real life issues and how they were solved and how the practice helped with those issues. And it's a little more immediate and personal, and make sure that that is also really easy for patients to share with others, because that is talking to a lot of your own existing patients. If you can make it easy for them to share it with their friends, that messaging can help you through social media. So anyway, those are some things with regards to messaging and getting that out. And this is very fundamental to marketing. It's interesting that this technical innovation with AI is reinforcing that basic thing, which is really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the fourth principle I talked about was validation, and how can we provide ways for people to validate that what they're reading and seeing is really true, and that other people have seen that as well. And there are two key tools we've got here. One is reviews, and the other third-party mentions. So reviews we are familiar with for a very long time, and they're concerned about the rating that's there. They're concerned about the quantity of reviews, and we're seeing in AI engines they're even going as far as evaluating not only how many reviews there are, but we've seen in one result, for example, it commented that this practice had been reviewed an exceptional number of times for a market this size, which was interesting. Um, the recency is important, so they can see that, and working on those reviews as a regular, ongoing part of your practice is really important. And the key is not have a big campaign and get a whole bunch of reviews and then don't worry about it for a few months. It needs to be a regular, ongoing part of your practice. And we recommend um, working to add around 10 to 15 new reviews a month in general. Um, and then people are paying attention to the sentiment. They want to see how passionate people are about your practice and what kind of experience they had. It is really helpful also to respond to those reviews. So if you have somebody, ideally, I'll tear this out for you. The best thing, the very best case, is for the doctor to respond to those reviews if that's at all possible. That shows a lot of connection and high touch kind of experience in the practice. That's not always practical. Next best is to have somebody on the team that will do that because they know the patients and can be a little more personal in that response. Of course, being cognizant of HIPAA, we need to make sure that we don't say something that they haven't said in that review response. But that can be very helpful. And not only do consumers see that relationship, but the search engines love that. And they love to see that there's that connection. And of course, the other thing that we've seen with AI is that a broader range of review sources is getting tapped. So Google's always been important, but Yelp is taking on a lot of importance with some of these AI engines. Um, we ran into a doctor who had great presence, great visibility, fabulous Google reviews, but wasn't showing up in the AI engines. The reason? Because the Yelp reviews were too low.
Hmm.
Go figure. Um, and they didn't think that they could recommend it, those computers, because the Yelp reviews were not very high. And those will often tend to be a little lower, so it's important to pay attention to that. And things like health grades that might be kind of on that second tier of review sources, important to pay attention to that too. So extending that breadth, we've seen search engines, particularly ChatGPT, that have responded to information on Reddit, believe it or not. So you just have to look wide and look for opportunities to expand where you've got those reviews and make sure you're doing it regularly.
Yeah.
Here's a search that was done on Perplexity, and one of the interesting things as you read this is all they're talking about these three dentists in Stanford, and it says all three have very high ratings and large review counts, with Stanford Dental Spa at 4.9 from 925 reviews, Dental Care of Stanford at 4.7 from 1,375 reviews. So they're looking very specifically at the review counts and their ratings, and then they kind of synthesize that and say, hey, Dental Care of Stanford's the best if you want the broadest range of services. And they've done a really excellent job of emphasizing that this is a single place you can come and get all your work done. And that's a way of differentiating your practice. And they've done it and done it well. So they've emphasized that on their website. The reviews reinforce that, and that worked really well in terms of validation and was picked up. Another way, and this is just another example of how you can use those reviews in the website to differentiate by service. So who's the best sleep apnea dentist in Mansfield, Texas? Again, the reviews established trust, 4.9 stars from 56 reviews. It specifically lists sleep issues and sleep clinic services at that address. So the website and local listings emphasized that specific expertise. The reviews reinforced it. You can see how these work together to help with that differentiation. And you can do this with other services as well. But this is one where it worked really well for the practice. This is a more unusual approach, but can also help with validation, and that is what we call third-party mentions. It's where is your practice mentioned in other places on the web? And press releases have been something that, hey, they're helpful for informing the community and the area about developments, but they haven't been horribly helpful with SEO because they discount all the links from it. However, what we're finding today is that those press releases are another source on the web that they're now picking up in AI engines, and it is bringing up mentions. Articles that you might have written and had in other, in print, in magazines or whatever, are another thing that can be really helpful. And endorsements from organizations or groups are other ways to do that. Here's an interesting way of showing how that those third-party mentions create validations. Here's a Google search that I did on Dr. Shane Sykes, and you can see all the different places that have pulled information in to provide this result in AI overviews in Gemini. So, founder of the Reno dentist specializing in comprehensive dentistry. Well, that came from the website, so that was helpful. And then background came from LinkedIn. Recognition named as a 2012 finalist in the Crown Council Young Dentist of the Year came from a press release that was out there about being recognized as a finalist. And then, identifies as a dentist, adventurer, photographer, and author on Instagram came from Instagram. So, interesting, all the places from which they extract data, but being out there in a lot of different places in a positive way can be really, really helpful.
Yeah.
Here's one other interesting one now to show you as we take all these tools and find ways to differentiate. A search that's done in ChatGPT, who's the best cosmetic dentist in Summit, New Jersey? Well, there are, it lists 3 practices, but you can see that they're starting to pull this apart for, here's the best dentist for this. So this says, hey, this is the best dentist for high-end cosmetic work. This is the best dentist for a very patient-focused cosmetic care. But here is a practice that is the best newer practice with a modern approach. So they've done a really nice job in this practice of saying, hey, we've got great technology, we've got a new office, updated technology and systems, and we do custom treatment and planning so that you're getting what you need and have this full range of services. And they've been able to, through that, differentiate themselves to show up in these top AI results. Very excellent way of positioning their practice and getting some advantage. So, and this is interesting when you look where this has come from. ChatGPT is giving us some clues, and they say who is the best, and they provide that, various areas of uniqueness, and then they tell us what makes a top cosmetic dentist. So, before and after smile gallery, they say is the most important. Well, where do we do that? That's on our website. It's on social media. Showcase that stuff really well, and that is providing some visual emphasis as to how extensive and effective they are. Experience with veneers and full smile makeovers, certainly website copy and accreditations that are establishing that expertise. It says use use of digital smile design, modern technology. We can emphasize that on the website. We can also touch on it in our local listings. And then reviews mentioning natural results. So those reviews again become critically important in reinforcing that.
Cool.
So just to summarize, then, what matters most today is making sure that we've got that visibility, that we're establishing that through strong SEO, advertising, and optimization in the AI engines, positioning our practice so that it's differentiated from other practices in the area in any of a number of ways to get reviews and third-party listings.
Nice.
So that's it in a nutshell.
Great. Lane, it's funny. It's funny. I've been around because I have daughters who use AI tools a little different than I do. And the one thing that I've noticed is more and more people are more comfortable being very specific and talking to the AI engines about what they are looking for. Because normally I think maybe in years past you'd
Hmm.
be like, I need a dentist in Holiday. That's what you would type into Google.
Yeah.
Um, but now it's fun to listen to you share all these things because I've learned from watching my daughters that when they want information from a chat GPT tool, they will talk to it for a minute about um, the details, the specifics, and it's almost like I'm talking to a very um, a conscious thing that is that the more information you give it, the better results it will provide. And so I'm sitting there thinking to myself, man, I could ask for a dentist that is trained as a cosmetic dentist, like you said, that writes journal articles, that is between the age of this and that is an outdoorsman. I mean, you could be very specific with the
Yeah.
exact type of doctor you're looking for that has multiple Google reviews. And it is interesting to see what uh, chat goes out and looks at, or these AI tools look at when because we've done it. Me and you have practiced. I mean, you've probably done it a lot more than me. What it gives back to you, what it's going out there and looking for, like you shared today, especially those things with Shane Sykes. It's very interesting. So very cool.
It's
Um,
fascinating, isn't it?
it is. I
They've
like
got
it.
access to all this stuff. And it's
Okay.
all over the net,
Um,
just there. Yeah.
great slide here. Talk about this for just a minute.
Yeah. So if you're wondering, how are we doing with this? We'd be happy to help. And as Crown Council member, happy to do an evaluation for you. Um, what it'll take is need about 10 minutes of your time. I'll give you a call, and I just need some key inputs from you about your locations that are important to you, services that are important to you, kind of get a better feel for what matters to you. We'll go and do an evaluation for you, show you how visible you are online, things that are working well in your local listings, and things that can be done to improve that and also improve your website. It'll take about 45 minutes to go through that in a phone call. So would require a little bit of time on your part, but we'll spend far more than that and put together a very helpful and detailed evaluation. If you would find that helpful, we would love to do that for you.
Very cool. Thank you, Lane. Grateful you would join us today. Thank you for preparing so well. We learned a lot, and I'll put this recording up on crowncouncil.com if you want to share it with your team or rewatch it. It'll be easy to find. Give us a couple days and we'll have it on the website. So thanks, Lane.
Hey, thank you, Stuart. It's great to be with you.
Great to be with you. Thanks so much. Okay, we'll
Appreciate
see
it.
you next time. Okay.
All righty. Take care.
Okay, bye. All right. Hey, everybody. Oh, I have got a video that we have done that I'm going to share with you guys. This is a team member interview. It's about 11 minutes long with Gene Jones. Gene has a TOPS practice advisor in her practice. They're part of the TOPS coaching. We talk for a minute about that and share just a few things with her about practice success, and what she does to be a great team member and what she thinks makes a great team member. So let me share my screen, share my sound. and I'm going to share this little video with Jean, and then that will kind of take us to the top of the hour, and we'll be done for the day. So, okay, here it comes. All right, hey everybody, Stuart with Crown Council Live. I'm grateful to have you joining us, and grateful for our never been on the show before. Grateful for Jean to be with us. Chris Taconis is in their office today, kind of training. So our normal segment, the Tops Coaches Corner, does actually not include a Tops coach, but it's okay. We're going to talk and say nice things about Chris and do everything to highlight what she is doing in the practice. So welcome, Jean from Oak Park Dental. Grateful to have you.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
And we were just discussing, I think Chris put you up to this, and then Jean said she is the exact phrase, almost like she'd practice, happy to do it.
Yes, absolutely.
Very cool. Hey, for people that don't know, we were just discussing, will you talk about, so Chris is a practice coach. She comes into your practice quarterly, and she is there working with your team today. Can you talk a little bit about what she's working on, what you guys are doing, and how that looks when a Tops practice coach is in your office?
Well, it's a very exciting 2 days for us. So we have a first day where Chris comes in and she does some observing well, first she always gets to speak with all of our team members, and everybody gets all pumped up to see Chris. She's like the highlight of our 4 times a year. But then she does some observing. We always leave a meeting, the prior meeting, learning new stuff. When I say stuff, I mean Tops verbiage, just ways of putting policies into places that work really well with our office. So what Chris does is then when she comes back, she sees how we're doing. She does a little bit of listening. She does a little bit of coaching. And then tomorrow when we meet, it's an all-day great thing of bringing new stuff in to kind of tweak or to say what works and doesn't work with our office, what we learned the last time she was here. And it's just a great team building, team bonding time, as well as just a lot of knowledge that we get in that amount of time with Chris.
Very cool. And year after year, so we've done the live stream for almost 3 years. The one thing that the best dental teams always say is that they have a great coach. They have somebody on the outside that comes in who is willing to teach, to lead, to train, to be honest, to keep the team accountable. And I know that there's no better person than Chris to do that. So cool that you guys, and I love that you said, my highlight is being with Chris too. I love being with Chris too. So
Yes, yeah.
very cool. Hey, will you introduce your practice real quick, what you do, where you guys are, and just for the Crown Council that doesn't know you, we talk about that for just a minute.
Sure.
Okay.
My name is Jean. I'm the office manager for Oak Park Dental. We are located in Madison, Wisconsin. Right now, we are an all-women's office, which is not by design, but just how it is right now. Our Dr. Jana Jarina is, I can't say enough good things about her. We do a lot of our Invisalign. She's an Invisalign queen. We are a Platinum Plus provider, and we are not an orthodontia office. So that is somewhat unheard of, but that is exactly Dr. Jana. So we do a lot of cosmetic work here, and we have some amazing results with that. Our patients, we just did a photo shoot with some of our amazing patients, and it amazes me every day just to see that work. So we're a small office. We have about 13 people in our office. We are truly a family.
Very cool. And your practice has been a member of Crown Council since 2011, which is crazy. I mean, sometimes I'll write these handwritten birthday notes to people, to the doctors, and I'll be like, so grateful that you've been a member. And I'm like, 2011, that's like 15. I mean, so many years, year after year, that we're so grateful for the community and the leadership, and especially the doctors who continue to be part of everything that we do. So really fun to connect with you guys. I know that Chris told me that she didn't want to take out of the training, so it's fun that we can connect just a little bit. So anyway, very cool about Invisalign. Awesome. Can you talk, so in your role, and you get to see the practice, the patients at a different perspective. Can you talk about first what you feel makes your practice different? And then two, I guess that's a piggyback question, is why do patients choose you guys?
You know, it was interesting to think about that when you asked those questions, I always go back to it because I've been asked this question before. What makes us different? What makes you want to come here? And this is not a script. This is honest gosh truth, is, it's really our verbiage that we have learned from TOPS and the things that we are able to implement in our office. We connect with our patients in a way I don't think they've ever been connected with. And they so appreciate that. And they recognize it. They love being heard. They love being understood. They love knowing, we love getting their M&M and being able to see those, that excitement at the end of it all when we've reached that for them, and then be able to go back and revisit it years later and see how much their M&M has changed.
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes us different. Why patients choose us is for that exact same reason. We treat our patients like family. Come in, we know them by name, we know their history and their families, and a lot of that again comes from working with TOPS, learning the DISC. And I'm maybe speaking language that people don't exactly know, but we learn our patients' personalities and what really works with them, and we help educate them and make them feel safe. All the things that TOPS does for us.
I love that. And you said earlier that it's not by design that you're all women in the practice, but what it is by design. Me and Steve, you can often hear Steve say this, is that culture is either created by design or it's created by default. And the amount of work that you guys put into creating your culture by design, it's special. I mean, it doesn't just happen like, oh yeah, no, we treat people nice. No, you guys are like practicing and you're working on it. And that is what makes you special. Very cool. Nice. When you look at your role as office manager, if you're speaking to other office managers or other team members in the same role, what do you feel is the most important thing that you do as a team member? How do you make a difference in your practice?
I think part of what makes what I do differently, it comes from the practice. It comes from the transparency in our culture guide that we have. So what I can offer as a team member is all those things. I believe that my job is to make sure you have all the tools you need to be successful here. I believe that for every one of our team members. The transparency, the listening, I'm kind of losing track of my question there again. So when you just talk about what I offer the team, that is it.
Yeah.
The leadership, guiding, being able to listen, being able to have our team members feel heard, and then really try to implement the things that they want, and we give it a whirl. We're not, it's nice to not have that fear of like trusting each other in a way that we can just try things.
I love that. And the one thing that you said that was interesting is that we don't hear often is you guys have a culture guide. It's one thing that we hope every Crown Council member has, but can you talk about, just explain what that is real quick and what it does for your practice?
So we hold each other very accountable to this culture guide. So what that means is we've come up with the things that we need and want for our culture in our office. And we hold each other to that, and there's I don't know. I don't want to say that it's pretty standard because it's not that. It's really individual to your office of what you need and what makes your team happy. And so we love that. We love to revisit it. We probably revisit it 2 to 3 times a year.
Nice.
Always making sure it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one, or yeah, we could do that a little different. But it's a great guideline for everybody, and we love to fall back on it. We use it all the time.
Good. Yeah, smart. And great that you review it. Sometimes those get created and then just kind of lost in the background. So very cool. Through your years, through the opportunity that you've had to be a team member and to watch your team and other doctors, if you had a few minutes to give advice to other team members or even to other doctors, things that you see your doctor do, what advice would you give to team members to make a practice great, a patient experience great, or even to help? Sometimes doctors need some advice from team members. What kind of advice would you give?
I've been in dentistry for, I don't want to age myself, but I've been in dentistry for a while. So one of the things that I have found with Dr. Jana is she invests. She invests in her team. She invests in her patient. She invests in her office. So my thing, and that I've really learned from her what that investment brings back to you. Like she invests, she wants you to have the knowledge, she wants you to have the tools to be successful. She wants to set you up for success,
Mm.
and I want to say that's new to me. I mean, not that other offices haven't done it, but it's just really emphasized here. And it makes you feel so special. Makes you want to give everything you have because you have somebody believing in you. You have your own cheerleader that's there on the sidelines, bringing you to cross that finish line. So that's
Uh,
what I would recommend. I think it's great.
the best advice. I love that. And we often say, I mean, you can't just work in the practice, you have to work on the practice. And that
Hmm.
does take time and money to create the team and the environment and the culture. So great advice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, anything I missed? Anything that you want to share or talk to Crown Council about before we depart?
If I can put a plug in, I have to say my first leadership conference that I went to, I'd been here less than a year. Um, and I say this all the time. It did change my life. It changed my attitude, I can't even put it into words. I can't speak enough about tops. And again, this is not a plug, but it really truly did. When you become fully immersed, and I know there's a whole conference on that as well, but I lived and breathed tops for 2 days. I saw how it worked. I saw the success. It made me so excited to bring that back. And I think my excitement was able to really pump up our team. And then having Chris as a coach, we are so very blessed.
Nice. You're going to make the other coaches jealous. That was really good. Sorry. Sorry.
Not my
Gene,
intent. They're all
not
great.
your Gene, thank you. Thank your team. Crown Council doesn't exist without each awesome team being leaders and examples in their own market. So we're grateful for you and thank you for the example that you show to the rest of the Crown Council. So thanks.
Happy to do it, Stuart. You have a great day.
Okay, you too.
Bye-bye.
All right, what a great interview. Very fun. Our Crown Council teams are so good. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you to Lane, to Gene, and everybody that's either watching live or recorded. We'll be back next week. We're going to do some Smiles for Life updates, some incredible Smiles for Life whitening results with two teams raising over $40,000. So hopefully we'll get them on to talk about their journey, raising that money for children's charities and being part of this incredible chance to do good. So thanks, everybody. Grateful for you, and we'll see you next week.